how to handle 5 members, you can do it whatever the question. That means upcoming lessons, it doesn't matter for you. But if you don't have any understanding about this, then you are in a problematic situation, right? Then you are in a problematic situation, right? So in assets, assets means, keep it in mind, there is a technical definition. We'll discuss the technical definition later on. So we'll just take the knowledge to keep the momentum in the regular class. So therefore, in here, assets means basically, just keep it in mind, assets means your economic resources. Assets means your economic resources. Assets means your economic resources. That means basically the resources. Your resources will be classified as assets. Your resources. Right? මම ඔය සිංහලෙන් නම් කියනවා ගොඩක් කරලා පන්තිවල ඔයාලට නිකන් ඇහුවාම මල් හතයි වගේ නම් that's an asset. ඇහුවාම මල් හතයි වගේ නම් that's an asset. As an example, we'll see some of resources, right? One, we could say what? We could say motor vehicles. Motor vehicles. One, it's motor vehicles. Then what's more the resources, Lamai? Then land, it's a resource for you. Building, it's a resource for you. Look here, these are resources that we use in a business. Then computers, it's a resource for you. Computers, it's a resource for you. Cash, it's a resource for you. Cash, it's a resource for you. What else? Furniture and fittings, it's a resource for you. Furniture and fittings, it's a resource for you. Then there is another one called debtors. There is another one called debtors. Right? Debtors also, keep it in mind, asset. Debtors also asset. You might wonder, so what it says debtors? We can handle it. Motor vehicles, you all know. Land, you all know. Building, you all know. So you don't know what's the debtors, to be discussed later on. Debtors comes because of credit basis sales. Debtors comes because of credit basis sales. You would sell the goods on cash basis. We'll say you are doing a bookshop. We'll say you are doing a bookshop. So you can sell the goods on cash basis. You can sell the goods on cash basis. Right? You can sell the goods on cash basis. So if you sold the goods on cash basis, you get the asset called cash. But once you sell the goods on credit basis, you don't get the cash, but you get an asset called what? Debtors. Keep in mind, if you sold the goods on cash basis, you get cash asset. But if you sold the goods on credit basis, you get an asset called debtors. Right? So that's the first thing. So to keep going with the accounting equation, you should know what are the examples. That's what required in here. You should know what are the examples. For assets, for liabilities, for income, for expenses, you should know what are those examples. So for the assets means, keep it in mind, there is a technical definition. I will give that with your tube. There's a technical definition. That's a different scenario. So in assets, what it says is it's an economic resource that we call it. An asset, it's an economic resource. Or just say resource. Definition, it says economic resource. And there's another technical definition just for the moment, because you just want to like keep the momentum to go for the move with the regular class. Right? So we'll discuss the technical definition, but this is not the time. So we'll just say assets, it's economic resources. So these are the examples of assets. Computers. Okay. Anything else to be added? Anyone who would suggest me something else? You could suggest me what? Office equipments at asset now. Office equipment also an asset. Done. Then what else? So office equipments. What else? You could have some other asset called prepaid. Prepaid expenses, we'll say. Prepaid expenses. As an example, we'll say Your electricity bill is rupees 100,000. Your electricity bill is rupees 100,000. Your electricity bill is rupees 100,000. All right, good. I forgot that. Inventory. I forgot that. Good one. Inventory. You might ask, so look here. You say motor vehicles, land, building, office. What it says for inventory? Inventory means whatever you have purchased for reselling purpose. නැවත විකිණීමේ පරමාර්ථයෙන් මිලදීගෙන තියෙන ඕනම එකක් inventory. If you have purchased something for reselling purpose, right? If you have purchased something for reselling purpose, it's inventory, right? Then this is inventory mean purchase of goods for reselling purpose. Reselling purpose. That's what it says from inventory. You purchase the goods from for reselling purpose. As an example, that means inventory means whatever you purchase for reselling purpose. We'll say for a moment, you are doing a bookshop, guys. We'll say you are doing a bookshop. What should be your inventory? That means what's there you purchase for reselling purpose. What you purchase for reselling purpose. What you in a bookshop, what you purchase for reselling purpose. If it is a bookshop, what could be their inventory? It would be books, basically the stationery items. Basically the stationery items. Right? So for the organization to organization, inventory going to be changed, the nature, because it's purchased for reselling purpose. We'll say in a tire shop, what they are for the reselling purpose? What's their inventory? In a tire shop, inventory means what? Is it stationary? In a tire shop, is the inventory is stationary? Is the inventory is we'll say ice cream? What should be the inventory in a tire shop? In a tire shop, what should be the inventory? That means what should be what they would have purchased on reselling purpose for a tire shop? It's what? Alamai? In a tire shop, what should be the inventory? What they have to identify it as inventory? Yes, just check what they purchase for reselling purpose. They purchase for reselling purpose tires. In a tire shop, tires are the inventories. Clear? In a tire shop, tires are the inventories. Fine, right? So keep it in mind, based on the nature of the business, your inventory is going to be changed. Right? So let me know. Everyone's supposed to give me the answers. Huh? We'll say you are starting we'll say something like grocery. In a grocery, what are the inventories available in a grocery? Lot of things are. What are the inventories available in a grocery? That means what they have for the pre-selling purpose in a grocery. What could be there as the inventory? As the inventory, what could be there for a grocery? Hello? What could be there? Let me know. What are the inventories available in a grocery? Just prefer supermarket, Skill Super or Cargill, so where? Yes. You could have different things. Yes, they have the food items, they have the stationery items. We would say ice creams, yogurt, milk powder, rice, dal, soap, everything it's there in a grocery. Those are for reselling purpose. What are your purchase for reselling purpose? That's an inventory. Inventory, it's an asset. Keep it in mind. So I was telling you what's a prepayment is. We'll say your bill is 100,000. We'll say your bill is 100,000. And you paid 120,000. You paid 120,000. Look here, guys. Your electricity bill for this month is rupees 100,000. Right. Electricity bill is rupees 100,000. Electricity bill is rupees 100,000. But you paid 120. But you paid 120. Even the bill is 100,000, you paid for 120. Then how much is a prepayment? Prepayment means what you paid in excess. Prepayment means what we have paid additionally. What you have paid the excess, what's the excess payment? That's a prepaid expense. What's the excess payment? That's a prepaid expense. So look here, how much should be the prepayment here? Any idea, guys? Shania? Khalid? Any idea? Dilan? Any idea how much should be the prepayment here? How much should be the prepayment? Look here, excess payment, it's a prepaid expense. It's an asset. Your bill is 100,000 but paid 120. So it's an asset for you. You have paid for the next month as well. This month 100,000 but paid 120. So you have additionally paid 20. That means it's for the next month. So this is you paid for next month as well. Then it's an economic resource for you. This is prepaid. Is it clear? Is it clear? Keep it in mind. Assets means resources. What's so important to keep going with this lesson is you should know the examples. Right? So take your book, write it assets and just put a arrow and just say economic resources. I will send you the tute. Right? But till that you have to take down these things and take down these examples. Take down these examples, write it what it's in the brackets also. Hurry up, hurry up. At the same time, if you have any questions, let me know. මෙච්චරයි මතක තියන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඔයාලට නිකන් මල් හතයි වගේ නම් ඒවා assets. Motor vehicles ගොඩක් තියෙනවා නම් මල් හතයි. Then it's assets. සල්ලි ගොඩක් තියෙනවා නම් මල් හතද නේද? මල් හත. සල්ලි දෙවියන්ගේ මල්ලි කියලා කියන්නේ. So that's it's anyway assets. Computers ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. Assets. Building ගොඩක් තියෙනවා. කුලියටත් දීලා ඉන්නේ. Assets. Because it's a resource for you. Right? So take it assets and just say economic resources and take down these examples. We'll go one by one, then we'll move for questions. Is it clear, everyone? Just you have to refer what are the examples. Keep it in mind. Whenever I said furniture and fittings, you should know it's furniture and fittings. It's asset. Sir said cash. Cash is an asset. Sir said inventory. Inventory is something for reselling purpose that we have purchased. It's an asset. Is it clear? What is important is assets, keep it in mind, it's an economic resource, and these are the examples. Right? Any questions? Aditya, Brinta, Dilan, Tihas, Vihar. Any questions? Shinaya, any problems? Right? Just take assets and take down this. Yeah. Give me a second. You take down. Feel that. මගේ නම්බරේ දීලා කියන්න පන්තියක් කියලා මට කතා කරන්න බෑ. දෙන්න කිව්වා ඒක. Adishta, what prepaid expense is? Adishta, do you know what my class fees is? Adishta, did I tell you what my class fees is? Adishta, are you there? Did I tell you what's my class fees for month? I said you have to reply me, or just you can unmute yourself and talk. Doesn't matter. Adishta, I'm talking to you actually. Did I tell you how much is my class fees for this class? Did I tell you how much is a class fees? Once you call for me, did I tell you how much is a monthly class fees for this class? How much was it? How much did I tell you? Okay, just assume you paid 3,000. My class fees is 2,500. You paid 3,000. You have paid additionally 500, right? Is it clear? Class fees is 2,500, but you have paid 3,000 for me. You have paid additional payment, right? Is it clear? You have paid some additional amount. Is it clear? Then that additional amount that you have paid, it's called the prepaid expense. That means you have paid for the next month as well. We'll say you have paid 5,000. That means you have a 1 month prepaid. You have paid for the next month as well. If you have paid for future as well, it's a prepaid expense. Is it clear now? Right? Others also, whenever you have questions, please talk to me, guys. Please talk to me. Right? Any questions, guys? Any questions? Any problems? Just talk, please. Huh? Bring any questions? Dilanma? Shenaya, any questions? Tihas? Vihar, any questions? Let me know. So what I required is, whenever I said office equipment, you have to say it's an asset. Whenever I said inventory, you have to say, so it's an asset. So you should have that knowledge. That's what it's required for this lesson, accounting equation. Tihas? Vihar? Shenaya, I didn't get from you. Shana, any questions? Just we have to see assets means resources. Even your mobile phone, it's a resource for you. So it's an asset. Right? Even your mobile phone, it's an asset. Because it's a resource for you. Right? Then this is a one family member of this accounting family. It's a one family member, right? Then the second one is quite it's like the opposite of assets. Assets was what, guys? Assets was resources. Assets was resources. Assets was resources. Right. Then the opposite of this is liabilities. Liabilities. For assets, දැනෙද්දි මල් 7යි වගේ නම් asset. සවුන්දට Prado එකක්, අඟහරුවාදට BMW එකක්, බදාද ඔය හරි වෙන යනවා නම් වෙන වාහන assets. සල්ලි ගොඩක් තියෙනවා නම් මල් 7යි assets. ගෙවල් ගොඩක් තියෙනවා නම් නූරෙලි එකයි, බීච් එක කයින් එකයි, යාපනයේ එකයි. ගොඩක් තියෙනවා නම් මල් 7යි assets. So those are assets, the resources. But liabilities are the other. So liabilities are the other part of that. That means basically the opposite. Assets mal hatayne. Liabilities in Sinhala I called it like because mala karadarak wage na, it's a liability. But nen kiyaddit mala karada දැන් උදාහරණ විදිහට හිතන්න. අම්මා කියනවා ගේ අතු ගන්න කියලා. මල් 7යි වගේ දැනෙන්නේ නැහැ. එහෙම දැනෙන කෙනෙක් ඉන්න පුළුවන්. එයාට නෙමෙයි. එහෙම කිව්වොත් එහෙම වට නිකන් මල් 7යි වගේද මල කරදරයක්. first one or the second one. ගේ අතු ගන්න කිව්වා. ඕන ඉස්කෝලේ පන්ති අතු ගන්න තියෙන දවස. ඔයාට ඒ දවස මල් 7යිද? මල කරදරයක්. ඔයාට මල් 7යි වගේ නම් දවස් 5ම ගිහලා අතු ගන්න. Right? So the opposite of assets is liabilities. So liabilities means always obligations. Obligations. ඒකයි මල කරදරයක් කියන්නේ. So you have the obligations, you have the commitments. Clear guys? You have the obligations, you have the commitments. You have the obligations and you have the commitments. You have the obligations and you have the commitment. Right? So if you have an obligation, it's a liability. As an example, we'll say, right? We'll say, you have been assigned to clean the school classroom on Monday. If they have assigned you to clean the classroom on Monday, is it a resource or obligation? First one or second one is? They have asked you to clean the classroom on Monday. So that is a resource or it's an obligation for you. One or two? Of course.
Second one, sir.
It's a second one. Good. Because you don't feel it's a resource. මල් 7යි වගේ නේ හැමදාම අතුපාන. සින්දුරාදිරිද ගිහිල්ලා අතුපාන. ඔය තියෙන දවසටවත් යන්නේ. Because it's obligations. මල කරදරේ. So it's good if you have the resources. Right? We so comfortable with the resources but not the obligations. In a company also they have obligations. As an example, we'll take some small obligations. We'll say like this. We'll say Tihas, you have taken a loan. You have taken a small loan of rupees 500, right, from Mr. A. Right? You have taken a loan. You have taken a loan from Mr. A. Here is the Tihas. Yes, right? So Tihas has obtained a loan of rupees 500 from Mr. A. Loan of rupees 500 from Mr. A. Tihas has obtained a loan of rupees 500 from Mr. A. Tihas has done that. Tihas has taken the loan from Mr. A. Now, Tihas agreed to pay this amount within 1 week. Tihas agreed to for Mr. A. Tihas said, look here, Mr. A, this is pandemic situation. I just won't have a, like, there is a small working capital issue in my company. So can you just give me rupees 500 rupees, Mr. A? I will return you within 1 week. So Tihas now, he has taken a loan. Now I am asking, because of the loan, right? Because of the loan, basically the loan means what? Because he took the loan, right? It was created a what? Resource or obligation. Basically loan is a what? Resource or obligation, you would say. 1 or 2. Loan means from this process, Tihas generated a resource or a basically obligation. What? Loan, he said, look here, Mr. I will give you this within 1 week. I will return you this within 1 week. So this is this a resource? The loan? No, because why? They are supposed to pay this 500 rupees with the interest after 1 week of time. So therefore, Tihas has taken a loan from Mr. A. Tihas has taken a loan from Mr. A. Right? Tihas has taken a loan from Mr. A. So once he took a loan, he has to agree for certain conditions. So therefore, here the condition it was, I am going to repay this within 1 week of time. I am going to repay this within 1 week of time. I'm going to repay this within 1 week of time. So he has made a what? Obligation. Then and there he has made an obligation. Because he has agreed to. If you have made any promises, If you have made any promises, those are liabilities. Those called obligations. There is an obligation to be performed by Itihas. Itihas supposed to pay this within a 1 week. So loan means what? It's an asset or liability. Loan means asset or liability. Loan එක සතියෙන් ගෙවුවේ නැත්නම් මිස්ටර් හැමදාම කතා කරනවා. කාටද 30ට. රැට කතා කරනවා, උදේට කතා කරනවා, දවල්ට කතා කරනවා. කෑවදුව දහන්න නෙවෙයි සල්ලි දෙන්නේ නැද්ද? මල කරදරයක්. Not a resource. මල කරදරයක්. So therefore, one example for liabilities is what? Bank loans. One example for liabilities is bank loans. Is it clear? Because once you obtain a bank loan, we'll say your company obtained a bank loan of rupees 50 million. Your company obtained a bank loan of rupees 50 million. Your company obtained a bank loan of rupees 50 million. So once you received the bank loan, basically the bank loan means you made an obligation for them. Yes, I will repay this within 5 years. So it's an obligation you accept, you're going to agree with them, right? So therefore, bank loan, it's a liability. Is it clear why the bank loan it's a liability? Is it clear why the bank loan it's a liability, guys? Because from the bank loans, there will be the obligations. Right? Once you take a loan, once you obtain a loan, we'll say you have obtained a loan from Sampath Bank for rupees 5 million. Then you committed to repay this. Already, loan එක අරන් ගෙවන්න ඕනේ නැහැ කියලා. ඒක ඒ මොළ ගෙනියන්න නෑ. Loan එක අරන් ගෙවන්න ඕනේ නැහැ කියලා. Once you take a loan of 5 million, you have to pay this with interest. Sometimes you have to pay 8 million total with the interest. So there is an obligation for you. So there is an obligation for you to repay this. To repay this. Is it clear? So whenever there is an obligation to perform, as an example, in you are like cleaning the school thing also, you had the obligation to perform on Monday. So it was a liability. Then you have an obligation to perform. You have to repay this within 5 years. So there is an obligation for you. So it's a bank loan and liabilities. If there is any obligation to perform, that's a liability. Is it clear? Is it clear, the bank loan? Is it clear, guys? No one is responding. Shenaya, is it clear? Tihas? Okay, at least put the thumbs up. Okay, right. Then there is another nice liability, guys. Look here. We'll say now, Shenaya, you went for a grocery. We'll say you are the most nearest shop that you went in your village. We'll say small grocery. Even they are your neighbors, will assume. So you purchase 5 books, 2 pens, 5 pencils, and the amount was rupees 800. Amount was rupees 800. Amount was rupees 800. We'll say that you went for a bookshop and you check your wallet suddenly. Your wallet is not there with you. So now you have already asked from the shop owner to give 5 books, 2 pens and 5 pencils. So he has been already given it for you. Mudalari, pot pahakoi, pen dekakoi, pencil pahakoi එකතු කරලා shopping එකක දාලා ඔයාගේ අතන දීලා. දැන් සල්ලි හොයනවා. ඒ මුදලාලි කියන it's rupees 800. Right? So you are going to purchase this. You're going to purchase. But you suddenly check your wallet. Wallet is not there. So you say for Mudalali, look here. Please be kind enough. You know that I'm like 100 meters away from this. My home is 100 meters away from this shop. Right? So look here. I haven't bring my wallet. I think I have kept it at home. Can you give me like 1 day? Like just tell me, just Mudalali, just give me 3 days. I will settle this 800 rupees. I will settle this 800 rupees. Can you give these stationery items on credit basis? So, Shenaya, you are going to purchase this on credit basis. කියන්නේ සිංහලෙන් කිව්වොත් ඉතින් ණයට ගන්න. සල්ලි දෙන්නේ. So you all know what's credit, right? Credit basis in the sense you took it for ණයට. That means you agreed with them. Look here, I will settle this 800 within 3 days. I will settle this within 3 days. Right? So therefore, guys, I will settle this within 3 days. So therefore, you would say, Mudalali, look here, give me this goods on credit basis. So Mudalali said, okay, settle this 800 within 3 days. Then again, you get a what? Resource or obligation to perform. Because of this transaction, there would be resulting in a what? Mainly, you will get a what? Mainly, you will get a resource. That's a different scenario. But mainly, you committed to pay this 800. So this 800 payable. 800 payable. You have to pay for this rupees 800. You have to pay for this rupees 800. Right? You have to pay for this rupees 800. You have to pay for this rupees 800. So once you're supposed to pay rupees 800, then you agree with this person, look here, I will pay within 3 days. That means you make an obligation to perform the activity. You make an obligation to perform the activity. You make an obligation to perform the activity. Right? You are committed to perform this obligation. 800 within 3 days you have to pay it. Keep it in mind, once you taken a loan, it's a loan. Once you purchase on credit basis, right? For Mudalali, we called it, Mudalali is a creditor. Mudalali is a creditor. That means whoever the parties you supposed to pay, those are called it as creditors. Right? You have to pay for Mudalali 800 rupees. So Mudalali, we call it as a creditor. That means you're supposed to pay for Mudalali. Right? In simply, forget about creditor. You're supposed to pay for Mudalali 800. In accounting, this Mudalali is referred as what? Creditor. If you have to pay something for us, so especially once you purchase goods, and if you have to settle it for a Mudalali, that Mudalali, it's in accounting, we call it as what? It's a creditors. Right? So creditors means again a liability. Keep it in mind how the creditors comes. Credit purchases. Due to credit purchases, creditors comes. Can you remember debtors? Can you remember how the debtors came? We will, once we are doing the questions, you don't need to worry about this, the creditors and debtors. If you are listening for the very first time, just keep it in mind. Creditors means liability, that's all. What I want is, if I write something, you should know this is asset or liability or what's it. So debtors, how it comes? Because of credit sales. Look here the difference. Because of the credit sales, you get someone called debtors. Because of the credit sales, you get someone called debtors. Then because of credit purchases, because of the credit purchases, you get someone called creditors. Because of credit purchases, you get someone called creditors. Because of credit sales, you get someone called debtors. Debtors, it's an asset. Creditors, it's a liability. Is it clear? So how the creditors comes is because of your credit basis purchases. You purchase these goods on credit basis. So you promising for this Mudalali, I'm going to pay this within 3 days. Once you are promising to Mudalali, there is an obligation to perform. So whenever there is an obligation to perform, it's a liability. So in accounting, we can't use like Mudalali. So whoever the Mudalali that you're supposed to payable, right? Whoever Mudalali that you're supposed to pay, that Mudalali is called it as creditors. That means you're supposed to pay for this Mudalali 800. It says Mudalali is a creditor, right? So keep it in mind, because of the credit purchases, it comes the creditors, right? No need to think that too much, right? Because once we are doing the question, you will get that. That's the nature of these debtors and creditors, right? Even when I was first listening for debtors and creditors, it was like, what's this debtors and creditors? But once we practice this, automatically it gets into our mind, right? Now look here. The other thing, guys, we'll say, can you remember last time prepayment? We'll say you have received the electricity bill. We'll say you have received the electricity bill. It's 55,000. Electricity bill is 55,000. Your electricity bill is 55,000. We'll say for the month of March. For the month of March. Then you paid 60,000. You paid 60,000. Then you paid access 5, right? Your bill was how much? 55. It's something like the same example like I took it on last time. If my class fees is 2,500, if you have paid 5,000, that means you have paid for future as well. If you have paid something for future, that means in here, month bill is 55, but you have paid 60. Then you have paid additionally 5,000. This 5,000 is called it as what? Additional payment? We called it as what? Let me know. Under the assets we discussed. If the bill is 55 and if you have paid 60, what's this additional amount? This additional amount? Exactly. It's what? Others? It's prepaid. It's prepaid. Yes? It's prepaid. These are prepaid. If you have paid for future, it's prepaid. We'll say you have paid for like 3 months class fees for me. It's a prepaid for you. You don't want to pay for another 2 months, another 3 months. Right? So it's a prepaid. Then this is an asset now. The opposite of prepaid means accrued expenses. Accrued expenses, or we call it as expenses payable. Or expenses payable. It's something like this. It's something like this. Opposite of this. Your bill is 55,000. We'll say your electricity bill is 55,000. Electricity bill is 55,000. And you have paid just rupees 30,000. This is month of March. This is month of March. March bill was how much? March bill was 55,000. Month of March bill was rupees 55,000. Clear? Month of March bill was rupees 55,000. Right? But you have paid how much? 30,000. In prepaid you paid additionally. Here, out of 55 bill, you're supposed to pay 55. But you have paid just 30. Then remaining 25,000, it's what? It's expenses payable. This is still a payable balance for you. This is still a payable balance for you. Bill was 55,000. You have paid rupees 30,000. You have paid rupees 30,000. Right? Bill was how much? It was 55. Then you have paid just 30,000. Then you have not paid 25. Earlier you paid additionally. Then it's prepaid. It's an asset. If you have paid more in for future as well, it's an asset resource. Look here now. You use the electricity for 55,000. You have used up to 55,000. Fan dagan, AC dagan, TV dagan, right? Light dagan, light dagan, AC dagan. So you have used the service, but you have just paid 30,000. Then still you're supposed to pay how much? 25,000. This is a what? This is a liability for you. This is a liability for you. How come this is as a liability? Because if you have used the service, you have agreed with them to settle this. The 55. You have taken the service. So if you have not paid, then it's a liability for you. You have an obligation to pay for the electricity board. You have an obligation to perform that. So that's what it called accrued expenses. If you have paid less, it's accrued. If you have paid more, it's prepaid. Keep it in mind. For an expense, if you have paid less, it's accrued. But if you have paid more, it's prepaid assets. Is it clear? Is it clear? Right? So just the opposite of prepaid, guys. It is just the opposite of the prepaid. Prepaid means you pay some additional amount. Prepaid means you pay the additional amount. But in the payable, right, under the accrued expenses means you don't pay at least the relevant amount for the period. Right? So 55,000 is the bill, you paid just 30. So there's an obligation to repay another 25,000. So then it's what? Accrued expenses, expenses payable. Is it clear? Is it clear what it says from accrued expenses? Aditya, right? Brinta, Khalid, okay, right? Shenai, Tihas, Vihara, Tihas, Vihara, fine, right? Right, and I will give another one. No need to think about that. Even the other students, we haven't discussed that one. Just keep it in mind, the wording, debentures. There is another liability which is called it as debentures. Debentures. Then there is another one called bank overdraft. Bank overdraft. Bank overdraft. These are liabilities. Debentures and overdraft to be discussing different lessons. Debentures you will get in grade 13. It's something like loans. Something like loans. Then bank overdraft. That means it's also like a loan that you take it for short-term loan. This right? So that's how it comes. So can you take it? Take it for your books. Liabilities. Put arrow. It's obligations, right? And put examples like this. What I want is whenever I said something, if I said it's furniture and fittings, assets. If I said loan, liabilities. If I said debentures, liabilities. You should have that knowledge. No need to worry about these two. We'll be discussing relevant chapters, right? Even the other students, they haven't done that one. Right? Is it clear? Yes? Right. Just take it down, please. If you have any questions, don't keep the questions with you all, right? Because this is a lesson that you all can't do, right? With keeping the questions with yourself, because the reason is you can't do the lesson double entry basically without knowing this. So therefore be careful. Right? So if you didn't understood anything, please just talk to me. Right? Right? Put within brackets also this credit purchases. No, expense means the 50,000. Expense means expense. We'll say electricity, it's an expense. But if it says accrued electricity, it's a liability. Whatever not paid amount, only the liability. Is it clear? Whatever it's not paid, if the total is not paid, the total is accrued expenses. Is it clear? So if you just say electricity, it's an expense. If you just say telephone, it's an expense. But if it says accrued electricity, it's a liability. That means it's payable. Right? If you have not paid, it comes to here. Otherwise, if you have already paid, it doesn't come to here. Just if it's just expenses, expenses. If it is accrued expenses, it's a liability. Is it clear? Shenai, what's up? Khalid, Dilan, Aditya, right? Aditya, right? That Aditya is Aditya Muralidharan, right? Am I correct? You are the one that, right? No? All right, good. Look here. Let me know. Can you all answer for this? Interest paid on bank loan. Right. Look here. You have taken a loan of rupees 1 million. You have taken a loan from rupees 1 million. So once you have taken a loan of rupees 1 million, we'll say you have taken a loan of rupees 100,000 and you have to pay the interest. You have to pay the interest 10,000. Loan is 100,000. You have to pay interest as well. One is asking this interest is what? For the loan, you are paying interest. Of course, ඒක වෙනම බැංකුවකින් ණයක් ඔයත් ඔය විහිළුවට කියන්නේ යාළුවෙක්ට පොඩි ගාණක් දුන්නා පොලියත් එක්ක දෙන්න කිය. ඒ වගේ තමයි බැංකුව විහිළුවට නෙමෙයි ඇත්තටම පොලිය ගන්න. ඒක තමයි බැංකුව දුවන්නේ. එතකොට ඔයා ලෝන් එකක් අරන් තියෙනවා ලක්ෂයක හැබැයි ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එකක් ගෙවනවා 10000. ලෝන් එක ලක්ෂයයි ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක 10000. ලෝන් එක ලක්ෂයයි ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක 10000. ලෝන් එක ලක්ෂයයි ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක 10000. Then me loan එක මොකද්ද? Loan means what, ළමයි? Loans means what? Loan means what? It's an asset or liability or what's it? Loan means what? Not Malindu, not assets, right? Loan means liability, right? Loan means liability. Loan is liability. Loan is a liability. Loan is this 1 million. What? Sorry, 100,000. That's a loan. And interest. And the interest. And the interest. Keep it in mind. You have taken a loan of this and you pay the interest. Interest, it's an expense. Interest, it's an expense. Right? We'll discuss under the expenses. Just for him, just the answer, it's an expense. Others, if it is confusing, just forget about that because since we have not done the expenses. Right? So that's all right. You all take this for your books, right? Shall I erase this and move on? Shall I erase this and move on? You all took it for your books, right? Right? Now, we have done assets. We have done assets. We have done liabilities. What you should know is, whenever I said something, you should be able to say whether it's asset or liability or what's it. Right? So next thing is, I would say it's the expenses. The third one, expenses. Now it's simple that we have to take and these practical things are there. You know these things in practical. Expenses. Let me know, what are your expenses, guys? What are your expenses at home? What are your expenses? Let me know 2-3 expenses in your home. One is what?
Electricity.
Exactly. Electricity. Electricity means it's an expense. Electricity means expense. Telephone. Telephone bill means it's an expense.
Rent.
Rent, right? Rent expense. If you are in a rented house, if you are in a rented building, if your company is in a rented building, you are paying rent. Then rent expense. Then insurance premium. I have seen some of students think insurance premium is an asset. No, insurance is a service we take, so it's an expense. You will do this insurance with your business studies lecture as well. So it's an insurance expense. It's an insurance expense. Right? Yes, transport expenses. Transport expenses. Those are your expenses. Clear? Those are your expenses. But if I tell like this, accrued electricity. If I say accrued electricity, not electricity, yeah? Here it's electricity. If I took accrued electricity, let me know this is comes under 1 or 2 or 3. If it is comes under the accrued electricity, if it says accrued electricity, I am asking not electricity, accrued electricity 1, 3 of, or if you want, I can give you 4th one also, none of the above. And I can give you help tip also. You can have the call a friend chance for your school lecturer or your best friend and ask, look here, this person is asking accrued electricity belongs to what? What you would say? Just share the number. Accrued electricity 1 or 2 or 3.
Second one.
Okay, we have the second one. Everyone's supposed to give me the answers. Huh? Tihas, share the answers. Vihar, Shenaya. It doesn't matter whether it's correct or wrong. Anyway, there are incorrect answers already sent me. Just share your answers. I want the answers, guys, once I say your names. Tihas, Shenaya, what you would say? Accrued electricity. Accrued electricity. If it is electricity, what? It's an expense. Electricity means expense. Accrued electricity means what? Electricity you haven't paid. If they say just electricity, it's an expense. If, right, Shena, if it just say electricity, it's an expense. But if they use some additional words like accrued electricity, if they use some additional words like accrued electricity, if they use some words like the accrued electricity, it's a liability. Accrued means you have taken the service but not yet paid, then it's a liability. Right? Keep it in mind. If it is just say telephone bill, it's an expense. But if it is says accrued telephone, that means you haven't paid. Then it's a liability. You have a perform to you have a obligation to perform. So if it is says accrued, it's a liability. Is it clear? So just take it expenses and put examples. There are technical definition for expenses. We'll discuss those things later on. Now the most important thing is I have to make you guys for the regular class the same process, right? So therefore you should be comforting these things, right? So just take it down. Examples for expenses. So expenses also done. And just give me a second, I want to refill my pens. Vihara, yes. Answer is yes, right? So expenses is fine, right? Shall I go for the next one? Fourth one. So look here, there's a connection. Assets opposite is liabilities. Assets were resources, malhatai, liabilities, malakaratai, opposite. Expenses. And what's the opposite of expenses? What's the opposite of expenses, guys?
Income.
Exactly, it's income. Expenses opposite is income. Right? We'll take income examples. Income examples. As an example, what's my income? What should be my income? Do I sell something for you? Like one-to-one sales? Do I sell any goods for you? No, right? I am doing a service. From the service, I generate my income. From the service, I generate my income. So it's my service income. So it's my service income. Clear? From the from my classes, right? I don't sell like any trade goods. I don't sell anything for you. A physical thing. So what I provide, it's a service. So what my income comes, it's service income. We'll say, we'll take Cargill's or Kiel's, Arpico, whatever. What's their income? Do they provide a service? No. They sell something. They sell the goods. So their income is generated with what? Sales income. They sell the goods and take the income. So it's sales income. Is it clear? We'll say, now you have rented out a building. You have rented out a building in Nigambu. We'll say, for Sampath Bank, you have rented out your building in Nigambu. So Sampath Bank gives you the rent. Right? You have rented out the building. You are the party who has been rented out the building. So now you get some income by renting out the building. So that's called what? Rent income. Lamai, be careful. Be careful. Sometimes rent could be an expense, or sometimes rent could be income. Rent is expense whenever you paid the rent. Clear? Whenever you paid the rent, we'll say you are in a rented building, so you are paying the rent. So it's a rent expense. But we'll say you have rented out a building. You have rented out a building, so therefore it's a rent income. So it's a rent income for you. What else? We'll say you have deposited rupees 2 million in a fixed deposit. You have deposited rupees 2 million in a fixed deposit in Sampath Bank. This is 5 years fixed deposit, we'll say. Then you get another income. What's it? If you have deposited 2 million in a fixed deposit. If you have deposited rupees 2 million in a fixed deposit, right? If you have deposited rupees 2 million in a fixed deposit, right? You get another sort of income. What's it? Bank. If you take a loan, you have to pay the interest. If you have taken a loan, you have to pay the interest. But if you deposit, they will pay you the interest. So it would be your what? Interest income. It would be the interest income. Is it clear? So be careful. These things will be an expense also. It's based on the situation. If you are paying the interest, so if you are paying the rent expense. If you are paying the interest, rent expense. But if you are receiving this, rent income and interest. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear? Vihara, Tihas, Shinaya, what are the examples for income and expenses? Brinta, Adisha, fine, right? Okay. Take down the income part as well. If you have any concerns, any questions, any problems, just talk to me. Right? We can't do anything with the questions and all. Huh? Make sure you all be there until end of this class. Huh? Right? Take down these things. So the fourth family member also done. Then we have to come for the fifth one, last one. So accounting, it's quite like a family. Expenses, it's there. Electricity, it's there. Telephone, sorry. Assets, it's there. Liability, it's there. Expenses are there. Income are there. Then the remaining one. Done, right? Shall I erase? To get it complete the final figure, the final element. Basically, we call these are elements in accounting. For the advanced level also, they are straight away elements in accounting, because students, they don't know. For these 5, there is a technical jargon we use called elements. So they put the answers like profit or statement, statement of financial position, it's wrong. And management accounting, financial accounting, it's wrong. So element means these 5. Right? Right? So the last one is what? Last one, it would be your equity. Last one, it would be your equity. Right? Last one, it would be your equity. What do you mean by equity? Or we call this as capital, or I will take it. We call this as equity or capital. And we use another technical jargon. Keep it in mind. For the equity, for the capital, we called it as net assets. We call it as net assets. Equity, capital, and the net assets. Equity, capital, and the net assets. Everything, it's similar words. Right? Don't misunderstood this. Some of students think net assets means it's something like total of assets. No, wrong. Net assets, they don't have any connection for assets. For the net assets, they don't have any connections for the assets. Net assets means the only thing is it's a capital, it's equity. Right? So now look here. Always keep it in mind, guys. Always keep it in mind. From equity, don't write it, I will tell you. From equity, it represents the owner's investment. We'll say investment. Owner's investment for the business. Now, in a business, there should be owner. In a business, there could be assets. Yes. For a business, there would be liabilities. For a business, there would be expenses. For a business, there would be income. But for a business, there should be owner. The business owner is representing from equity or capital or net assets, not from the name of the person. Now we'll say Kanchana started a bookshop, so you can't put owner it's Kanchana, because in accounting we believe owner and business is 2 different things. So therefore, generally, owner is represented from equity. Owner is represented from the equity. Equity means it's the owner. Clear? Owner is represented from the equity. Right? As an example, we'll say owner invested rupees 1 million for the business. Look here. It's the owner's investment. Look here. It's the owner's investment. It's the owner's investment. Right? Then second one, some students think, right? This is so important. Listen to me very carefully, right? Listen to him very carefully. Some student thinks owner can invest just cash. Are you agree with that? Some student thinks because equity means owner's investment. අයිතිකාරයෙක් ඉන්න එපේ බිස්නස් එකට මේ හතර විතර හරියන්නේ නැහැ. අයිතිකාරයව පෙන්නන්නේ ඉක්විටි එකෙන්. කියන්නේ අයිතිකාරයාගේ ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට්. Some student thinks here the equity means owner's investment. Some student think owner could invest only cash for the business. That means investment could be only cash. Some students think like that. Are you agree with this? They think owner can invest just the cash. What you would say? Some students think, they say, some student I have seen that, they say basically, right? Owner can invest just the cash for the business. Is it correct? Is it correct, guys? Owner could invest only cash for the business. No, incorrect. Why? Not only cash. Owner can invest any asset for the business. Any asset for the business. As an example, owner invested his personal motor vehicle of rupees 2 million for the business. 2 million for the business. Owner invested his personal motor vehicle of rupees 2 million for the business. Not only cash, they can invest anything. Motor vehicles, owner can invest a computer, owner can invest the office equipments, furnitures, whatever they could invest. Keep it in mind, owner's investment, don't restrict it just for the cash. It's wrong. The owner could invest not only the cash, even they could invest what? Motor vehicles and everything. Is it clear, guys? Is it clear? Others? So equity means owner's investment. So take the last one, fifth one. Obviously, no. If there are assets, if there are liabilities, there are expenses, if there are income, there should be owner. No? Owner always represent from equity. Equity means always owner. We don't put the owner's name. Generally, we put equity. Is it clear, guys? Yes, Shanaya? Right, okay, go ahead. Shanaya, did you go for any classes before? Shanaya, did you go for any classes before? For accounting, I mean. All right. We do. ළමයි හරි මේක ලියා ගන්නකො equity capital and keep net assets also. Right, just take it down. There is a question from one student, so I am going to pass that question for you guys. Let me know, guys. Have you done this? Have you taken down this? Shall I move on? Sorry, I am muted. Nah? Right. Now I look here. One is asking a question, guys. Right? One is asking a question. Question is, advertising expenses belongs to what? Can you all share the answers? Above the 5, you have to just tell the number. If it is 4, just put 4. Advertising expenses belongs to what? Share the answers. Advertising expenses, is it asset or what's it? Share the answers. Even that student also could answer his own answer. Come on, guys. I just received one answer. That's from Shenaya. Malindu, Tihas, Rishan, Khalid, what's up? Dilan, Lama, it's there the answer now. Look here. Advertising expense. It's an expense. Khalid, it's not the equity. Equity means owner's capital. Khalid, equity means owner's investment. Is it something owner's investment? No, this is advertising expenses. You might put a new TV advertisement. So it's an expense. Khalid, is it clear? It says expense. There is no, if the question doesn't say owner, it's not equity. Lamai equity nan හැමතිස්සෙම owner කියන වචනේ තියෙනවා. මේ owner. If something it says owner, only you can take it as equity. Is it clear? Khalid, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now don't write it, right? Till I finish it off in my board because I would do some changes, right? We'll say like this. We'll say it's sorry. Right. You all can take down these things. And you just have to keep some space there, right, to write it. Don't do the question, just write it what it's there, right? Furniture and fittings, Right. Just write it whether it's belong to asset or liability or income or expense or what's it. Just write it down, guys. What's it? Asset or liability or income or expense or what's it? Asset or liability or what's it? Equity or what's it? Take down it. Right. Write it down. Write it down and you have to take this motor vehicles and write it down. That's motor vehicles. What it is? Asset or liability or equity or what? Accrued electricity means out of that 5, what it's. Any questions? Let me know if you didn't understand it. And I would put another 2 also. You all can see this right in here. This is new thing for you. Just you can have the guess and win chance if you want. Discount receipt. Right. Right, guys. Write all of these and write down the answer. Straight away don't write the answer. Right? If ඔයාලා දන්නවනම් පුළුවන් දැන් මෙලිනට නම් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ ලියන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. එයාට උත්තර දෙන්න ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. Others you are newcomers now. So just do this. I think Malindu also a bit comfort because he's doing AAT with us. So others write it and get the answer. I will give you 10 minutes. Have you all done it? Have you all done it? Once you done, let me know. Yes, sir, done, sir. No. Right. So this knowledge should be there, right? Even for tomorrow class, right? Even for the tomorrow class, this knowledge should be there for you guys, huh? So motor vehicles, it's assets. It's assets account, right? We say assets, fine. Accrued electricity means what? Accrued electricity, keep it in mind. Whenever we use something called what? Accrued. Whenever we something use accrued, it's what? Yes, exactly, liability. If it is used accrued, electricity, it's an expense. It's a different scenario, but accrued electricity means we have not paid. So this is a liability. Furniture and fittings, assets. Bank loan, liability. Telephone bill, expenses. Owner's investment, what you put for sixth one? Owner's investment, it's what?
Equity.
Equity. Interest paid, it's what? Interest paid,
Expense.
expense. Because interest paid, you have paid the expense, you have paid the interest, then expense. Look here, interest received, it income. If you have paid the interest, it's expense because interest expense. Interest received, interest income. Rent paid, it's expenses. Rent received, it's an income. Discount allowed, it's an expense. Discount received, it's an income. We haven't done this thing. You can take the answers. Discount allowed means expenses. Right? Discount allowed means expenses. Discount received means income. Discount received means income. Insurance premium means what? It's expenses. Transport expenses means it's expenses. Sales, it's income. Debtors, it's assets. Cash, it's also asset. Creditors, it's a liability. Inventory, it's an asset. Look here, prepaid electricity, prepaid. Because of prepaid, this is asset. Land, asset. Commission income, it says income. So it should be income. You can mark your answers, guys. You can mark your answers. Right? You can mark your answers. You can mark your answers. Right? Any questions, any problems, just talk to me. You can unmute yourself and ask it, or you can just drop in the chat box. Doesn't matter what. Is it fine? So this knowledge should be there then, right? Then and there, this knowledge should be there. Once I said something, you should be able to say it's asset or liability, income, expense. It's important for the next tomorrow's class as well, right? Ninth one, rent paid. Vihara, rent paid. Where did you receive the tute? No, you didn't receive the tute, right? Rent paid. That means you pay the rent. Once you pay the rent, it's an expense for you, Vihara. You pay rent. You have rented out a building and you are paying the rent. You pay for that. You pay electricity, you pay telephone, you pay rent. It's an expense for you. Then you receive the rent income. That means you have rented out your own building, it's income. Right? Yeah. Fine, right? Right. So now you know what's an asset, what's a liability, and you know the examples, right? That's what is required to keep the moment, right? So we'll do question. There's a different scenario, but soon as possible, you should be able to move with the regular class. Once even you are joining with the recovery class, you have to join still the existing class, right? You have to join with the existing class as well, because otherwise, all the times you have to be in the recovery class. So therefore, we have to keep the momentum, right? That's so important. So now what I'm going to do is we'll be discussing more questions, but the basics will be done soon, right? So because then you can straight away move with the our what we call this normal class as well, right? Then, right, now we are going to identify the relationship between these, the 5 elements, right? So you know there are assets. There are assets for the business, right? There are assets for the business. There are assets for the business. There are assets for the business, right? How the assets going to be financed? How you could finance the assets? It's through 2 sources. For the business, the assets could be financed. As an example, we'll say cash, motor vehicles, furniture and fittings. All the assets could be financed through whom? Through the owner. Owner could invest the assets for the business. Owner is representing from which element, guys? Owner is representing it from the which element? From which element that the owner is representing here? It's equity. Owner, can you remember? We said owner is representing all the times equity. So for a business, there are 2 sources that could be financed assets. One is owner could finance the assets, so it's equity. Owner could finance the assets, it's equity. Owner could finance the assets, so owner is representing from equity. Then owner could finance for the business, the cash, furniture and fittings, everything could be financed through the owner. Owner could invest. Then if the owner also has some limitations, so again, business assets would be financed through, if it is through the owners, it's equity. Business assets would be financed through third parties, right? Business assets would be financed through third parties as well. So that third parties, simply we called it as what? Liabilities. Simply we called it as liabilities. Is it clear? It's assets equals equity plus the liabilities, right? It's assets equals equity plus the liabilities. The assets equals equity plus the liabilities, right? It's assets equals equity plus the liabilities, right? It's assets equals equity plus the liabilities. So this is called it as the basic accounting equation. If someone asks from you, what's the basic accounting equation? This is the basic accounting equation. This is the basic accounting equation. This is the basic accounting equation. Assets equals equity plus the liabilities. That's the basic accounting equation. Right. Then you might ask, so look here, what to do with this equation? What is for the examination purpose, what is required is you have to get that for your mind, right? You have to get that feeling basically. Because of business transactions, assets would be changed, equity would be changed time to time, liabilities would be changed time to time. We have to identify the change for the assets, we have to identify the change for the equity, and we have to identify the change for the liabilities time to time from the different transactions. Clear? So for the examination purpose, what it's required is should be able to, they will give you transactions and you have to take it for the equation. I will give a small hint. Use this hint whenever that you go through with some tough adjustment, even for a simple small adjustment, you can still use that help tip. That's so important, help tip, right? So help tip is always identify the impact for cash in accounting equation. First, always I'll put first, don't write it down, I'll give you the time for that. First, identify the impact for cash in, first identify the impact for cash in accounting equation. This is the help tip. Make ඔළුවට ගත්තොත් ගේමක්. Right? First, identify the impact for cash in accounting equation. First, identify the impact for cash in accounting equation. Now, let me know, cash means what? Cash means what? Assets or liabilities or equity or what's it? Cash means? Please let me know. This is so important to move with. Cash means what? Others, newcomers, please share your opinion. Please share your answers.
Assets.
Assets. It's assets. It's assets. We did assets. වටිනාම asset එක. සල්ලි තමයි දෙයියන්ගේ මල්ලි. So assets, cash. Always from all the transactions, first identify the impact for the cash. For all the transactions, identify the impact for the cash. First, you have to identify the impact for cash. As an example, we'll say, now here is the business. You have not yet started the business. So it's assets 0, liability is 0, and equity 0. This is the business. Nothing they have started yet. So now there is one of my best friend. Her name is Kanchana. She is such a nice girl with a short hair, with a nice smile. So Kanchana is going to start a business. So Kanchana invests rupees 500,000 for the business. Now, before starting the business, assets were 0. Liabilities were 0. Equity, it was 0. Because there was no business. But my best friend from the preschool times, it always Kanchana. She was next to me in preschool also. So at that time, I can remember, whenever we were in the preschool, Kanchana said, look here, I want to start my own business. So now it's the time to start the own business for Kanchana. So now Kanchana is going to invest rupees 500,000 for this business. Now she brings rupees 500,000 from home to this building. Right? So basically for this business, I am asking, once Kanchana brings the 500,000 for the business, what's the impact for cash of the business? Cash would be increase, cash would be decrease, or no impact. What you would say? Cash would be increase or cash would be decrease or no impact of the business cash. Share the answers. Must to answer for this question, otherwise I can't continue this session because this is so important. What would happen? Once the Kanchana has invested rupees, she has bought rupees 500,000 for the business. Then what would happen for the cash? What would happen for the, yes, cash increase. She brings the cash for the business now. So cash increase. you all said cash means what? It's assets. So here cash increase by how much? 500,000. So you identify the impact for cash. So cash means asset. So you would take it into here. Cash increased by how much? 500,000. This is we record the equation not for Kanchana's perspective. Now don't say so Kanchana's cash decrease. No, that's fine. Kanchana's cash decrease, but equation is not for Kanchana. Equation it's for the impact for the business. Kanchana bought rupees 500,000, so the cash goes up. Now look here. Kanchana means who? She's the owner. She's the owner. I told you, if it's in the question, if something it was there for owner, right? If something it's about the owner, for which element there is the impact? If
Equity.
it says equity, exactly. I told you, Kanchana means the owner. If there is any transactions with owner, it's representing with the equity we discussed. Then equity means owner's investment. So equity would be increase or decrease or not no impact, guys.
Increase.
Increase, okay, others. One is saying it's increase. That means from this transaction, owner's investment going to be increased. That means equity going to be increased. I'm asking from this transaction, equity would be increase or decrease or no impact. Of course, once the owner invests, investment goes up. ඔයා සල්ලි බැංකුවකට දානකොට හැම වෙලාවෙම බැංකුවේ සල්ලි වැඩි වෙනවා. So මෙයා බිස්නස් එකට කරනවා බිස්නස් එකේ සල්ලි වැඩි වෙනවා. එයාගේ ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එකත් වැඩි වෙනවා. So here it's since it was owner, equity should be increased by how much? 500,000. So here it's equity should be increased by how much? Rupees 500,000. Is it clear? So I would say this is the capital. Capital. Look here, I took this transaction for the accounting equation. I took this transaction for the accounting equation, right? We'll take another one now. At the same time, any questions, any problems, any things you didn't understood, please talk to me. We'll say now, always use this hint, always use this. Always keep it in for a one transaction, there are two impacts, dual impact, right? Keep it in mind, in accounting, for every transaction, there would be a dual impact. Every transaction would give you a dual impact, right? We'll say something like this. Now, business purchase computer for rupees 25,000. Business purchased computer for rupees 25,000. Business purchased computer for rupees 25,000. Let me know what is the impact for cash from this transaction. What is the impact for cash from this transaction? From this, then business purchase a more computer. What? Computer. They went for Liberty and gave, sorry, you must give this 25,000 for them, right? Otherwise, will they give you the computer? No, right? So they have, you give the 25,000, they give the computer. Let me know. I am asking, right? I am asking just the impact for cash we have, not for assets or something. I am asking from this transaction, business cash would be increase or decrease. From this transaction, you purchase a computer. So cash decrease. Cash decrease. So first identify the impact for cash. Once you purchase a computer, cash decrease by 25,000. Then let me know, guys, what it says from computer. What it says from computer. What it says from computer. Computer means asset or liability. I told you there is a dual impact is there. I am asking, now the cash is adjusted. We have to adjust the other one. Computer means belongs to what? Computer means what? Of course, we discuss. Computers means assets. Just go and check your assets. So your cash decreased. You give the cash. You went for Liberty. There is the PC Max in the second. In second floor, there is a PC Max. Right? You went for the second floor. Then there is a PC Max. So for the PC Max, you give 25,000 and purchase a computer. Computers, right? So then you get a computer. You gives the cash. There was a decrease of your assets. One asset decrease and you get a computer. Another asset comes. So Lamites, computer increased by 25,000. Is it clear? Computer increased by 25,000. One asset goes down, the other asset comes. So first thing is, first identify the impact for cash. Then you know one entry of cash decrease. Then you have to identify the second one. Second one obviously in this transaction. Clear? Shall I give you another one? Could you tell me what's the impact? Let me know the impact for cash. Let me know the impact for cash. Let me know the impact for cash. We'll say it's what? What you would say? Impact for cash. We'll say purchased inventories. Purchase inventory, or for the inventory we say stocks, for rupees 100,000. This is the third transaction happened in the business. Purchase inventory or stock for rupees 100,000. Let me know. No, equity is not going to be increase or decrease. Why? Equity is going to be increased just because of whose transactions? Equity is going to be taken it only for the owners. So there was not the owners. Is it clear, Vihar? You can't take everything to then and there. You have to be in the logic. So no impact for equity, no impact for liability, because where to adjust the equity? Nothing, because owner is not there. Let me know from this transaction impact for cash. Whenever I am asking what's the impact for cash from this transaction. You purchase inventory, stock for rupees 100,000. It's what? Cash decrease, right? Cash decrease 100,000 because you purchase 100,000 goods. Then you gives the cash and you received what? You have received what? Stock. You have received the inventory. Look here, you have received the stock. You gives the cash. They took the cash and they gives you back the inventory, stocks. Stocks belongs to what, guys? Let me know. Stocks means, inventory means asset or liability or equity or income or expense. Stock means what? Here, you give the cash, you got the stock there. We discuss. Stock means asset. Stock increased by 100,000. No impact for the other things. It's keep it as it is. Is it clear? Fourth one. Let me know the impact for cash. You went for Sampath Bank. You went for Sampath Bank, Narahempita. Right. You went for Sampath Bank, Narahempita, and obtained a loan of 500,000. Company obtained a loan of rupees 500,000. Company obtained a loan of rupees 500,000. Let me know what's the impact for cash. You went for Sampath Bank and you asked for a loan of 500,000 and they have given you a loan of 500,000. Once you have taken a loan from Sampath Bank, the cash increase or decrease or no impact. Let me know, guys. You went for Sampath Bank. There was no any at least 1 rupee in your pocket. Just empty pocket you went for Sampath Bank. Sampath branch manager is Danushka. Right? So you asked from Danushka, look here, 500,000 loan, could you give me it? So he granted the loan. What would be happen for cash? You went without at least 1 rupee in your pocket, basically empty pocket, you went for the bank. But once you come from the bank, you have 500,000 rupees in your pocket. You have 500,000 rupees in your pocket. So cash goes up, rupees 500,000. Cash goes up by rupees 500,000. Then look here, loan. Look here, loan. What it says from loan? Loan means what? Asset or liability or income or equity or what's it? Loan means? Loan means?
Liability.
Okay, we'll see. Loan is what? Loan is liability. Loan is a liability. So cash goes up. Dual impact. There's a dual impact. Loan is a liability. So your obligations increase. Then liabilities increase by how much? 500,000, and you say it's how much? It's loan. Is it clear? Is it clear up to this place, guys? Up to this, is it clear? Up to this, is it clear? Krishika, Khalid, Shanaya, Tihas, is it clear? Vihara? Right? Fine, right? Up to that, keep it in mind. What we did was, I didn't put the transactions, but keep it in mind. We'll be practicing more questions, right? Right. So then right, this knowledge you should have it too for the tomorrow's session. Tomorrow you have the session from 7 to 9:30, right? I will send you the link, not the same link that I have shared. I will send you the new link for that. I will send you a new link for that, right? And what I want to tell you is, we'll take straight away the equity. Equity means basically the owner. Fine. Equity, we have to identify at what time equity having an effect. At what time you can change the equity. Equity could be increased. There are some places equity could be decreased. Right? Equity should be increased because of what? Owners what? Equity would be increased. Equity means owners investment. So because of owners investment. Because of owners investment, equity would be increased. Is it clear? Because of owner, because equity means owners investment. So owner invest, whenever it's owner invest, equity goes up, investment goes up. Right? Then equity could be increased. Why you start a business? We'll say, Tihas, why you want to, we'll say you want to start a business at Batagattara Junction. Why you start a business? Why you want to start a business? Is it for social welfare? If you all started a business, what's the main objective? To earn profit, of course. Business profits. Business earn profits. If the business earns profits, right? If the business earns profits, who wants that profit? Who is asking for the profit? If the business earn the profit, who wants to take that profit? Is it employees wants the profit, or is it profit, or owners wants the profit? Who wants the profit? Exactly, owner wants the profit, because that's why they have invested, start the business. So here it's, whenever there is any profit, whenever there is any profit or income, then keep it in mind, your equity should be increased, because this profit should be attributable for own. That's a relationship. Because why equity means owner, why start a business is by the owner, it's to earn profits, to earn income. So whenever there is profit or income, you have to add back equity. Fine. Then the equity should be decreased at what time? Look here, owner's investment is there. Owner invests for the business. On the other hand, owner takes some cash from the for the personal use. Look here, this is a bit of new thing for the new students, right? Owner could invest for the business. අයිතිකාරයාට business එකට ගේන්න වගේම business එකෙන් අරන් යන්නත් පුළුවන්. business එකට සල්ලි ගේන්නත් පුළුවන්, business එකෙන් සල්ලි අරන් යන්නත් පුළුවන්. Whenever owner invests for the business, equity increase. But whenever owner take cash or any asset for personal use, if the business cash, the owner has taken it for personal use. If the business assets, owner has taken it for personal use, then equity should be decreased. Because of the investment, equity goes up. But because owner withdraws some cash or any goods in a business, equity should be decreased. Invest කරොත් වැඩි වෙනවා equity එක. business එකෙන් සමහර ඒවා යාගේ personal consumption එකට ගෙදර අරන් ගියොත් equity decrease වෙනවා. So if the owner has taken any cash or any inventory, any stock for his personal usage, we call it as drawings. Drawings. So if the owner invest, equity increase. If there are any drawings, equity decrease. Drawings means he took it from the business for personal use. Earlier, he took from home to business. Now this time, business to home. Right? So this is drawings. Owner use it for personal use. We'll get it and count it like in every question, so no need to worry. Then look here. The other one, equity should be decreased because of what? If the income was added for the equity, expenses should be what? Decrease from equity. Opposite, no? Owner can't say he's going to just take the income part. He's supposed to take the expenses as well. So income and profit goes up the equity, then expenses decrease it. Is it clear? So the opposite basically, owner's investment equity goes up, owner took it for personal use, business cash or business any asset, it's drawings, equity decrease. Whenever there is profit or income, equity increase. Whenever there is expenses, equity decrease. Right? The opposite. If the income goes for the owner, he's supposed to bear the expenses also. Otherwise, he can't transfer the expenses for the other job. No? Is it clear the relationship where equity increase and where equity decrease? Apart from this, for anything, you can't take it for equity impact. Only for these 4 occasions, you can have it the equity change. Right? You could change the equity only in these 4 occasions. Equity could be increasing only these 2, and equity should be decreasing only these 2. Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? Let me know. Share the answers. Rishika, Shinaya, Ihas, Vihara. Right. Is it clear, everyone? Tihas, fine, right? Dilan, fine. Right, okay. Can you take down this? Can you take down this? With that, we'll just take it down. I will tell you what to do next. හරිද ළමයි? Done? Is it done, guys? Done, right? Right. Any questions so far, guys? Any questions? Any problems? Any questions? Any problems so far, guys? Any questions? Any problems? I will be giving the tutes for the courier agent on tomorrow. So you could get it like within 3-4 days. Within 3-4 days, you would get it. Right? And you have to join for the tomorrow class. Tomorrow class it's at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow class it at 7 o'clock. Right? Tomorrow class it at 7 o'clock. Huh? මම අලුත් link එක දාන group එකට ඒකෙන් join. මේ link එක නේ වෙන link එකක් තියෙනවා. Right? So we'll be doing the recovery class for a while. Right? So I think we have to do it like for another couple of days. Right? So tomorrow we'll meet. Right? So tomorrow is so important. Right? Because now what I want is now the basic things we have done. Right? Tomorrow it would be double entry system, debit and credit. If you are not good in double entry, definitely you have to be there. Right? Especially the students who didn't do the commerce as well, it's not good. Make sure that you all there. If Smelina, that if you are good with that, doesn't matter. You don't need to join with. Doesn't matter whatever you join also. Right? So we'll meet on tomorrow at 7 o'clock. I'll be sharing the link for the group. Right? So we'll meet on tomorrow, guys. Any questions? No, right? If you have any questions, drop me a message. Huh?